then we'll take questions.
Yeah, well, a little warm out there. Tried to use some periods where we were in and out, going back and forth. We don't expect warm weather Saturday night, so trying to rotate in and out and use some crowd noise for the offense, which is certainly always tough on the road. But I thought the kids practiced well. Thought it started out a little flat, and some of the guys started picking it up and had a couple competitive periods, and that was good. So on to more work tonight.
Coach Kelly was saying today in his press conference that both teams having a too strong running game could be one of the old-fashioned type football game, kind of pounded out, whoever has the most grit and will and all that's when one comes out on top of the win. If you kind of agree with that assessment.
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought that Notre Dame's a physical, hard-nosed football team. Has kind of been their MO for a long time. Even when he carried them to the national championship game, it was that way. Certainly that way the other day for them. You know, they got 3 good physical backs, and count the quarterback, that's 4, because he really runs well. They are a big physical football team. Across the front, I'm just telling you, the biggest will play when they line up there, and the tight ends are huge. They'd probably say the same about us, but I don't know if our guys are quite as big as theirs are. And they do a good job with the run game. Hard to defend, because with every run, they've got options off of it to throw it. So it's hard to be right. Sometimes it's a play caller. You just got to let your kids make plays and put them in good positions.
Along those same lines, how tough is a guy like Allen out of the backfield to defend, and in the passing game, St. Brown?
Yeah, St. Brown's really good player. It's just weird for me because you're familiar with your conference players. You watch these guys in the off season and you think you have a good feel for them, and then to see them Saturday, they're really explosive, fast guys. I mean, they've got a slew of wideouts and they're all big. But he's good out of the backfield as well.
Did Wimbush impress you at all with his pass distribution? Looked like he hit a lot of targets, judging by the stat sheet. Yeah,
they move the pocket with him. He's athletic. He breaks things. When things break down, he takes off. He hits a few draws in there. I mean, the guy is tough to defend. I mean, it's like having, somebody like Sony or somebody back there that can throw. I mean, you can imagine it's not fun when it gets down to just tackling him one-on-one. And a lot of times you have to lead it that way. I mean, you have to leave one guy in the box to try to cover people, and it's hard to do with this guy.
Kirby, what did you think of how your wide receivers did Saturday, and having Riley Ridley back in the mix? What does he bring?
I thought the wide receivers really blocked well. The guys in early, Javon and Terry, I thought played with more competitive toughness than they did last year. Tried to get physical and get on some blocks and do some things. And when they had a chance to make some plays, which wasn't real often, they made those. I'm excited to have Riley back out there and looking forward to see what he can do. And he'll get in and mix it up with those other guys.
How much can J.J. Holland do? I know he didn't play the other day.
He played. He did play. He played a little bit. J.J. got in the game. I know he got in the game on special teams, and he got in and wide out a couple plays. J.J.'s, he's had a couple nagging injuries through camp. He still, the time he missed from the hamstring really hurt him mentally, not physically, but just hurt him mentally. But he's a guy that when he figures it out, he's a great kid. He works really hard. He's got a great physical presence and a great target, but he's just got to get comfortable. He's going through what some of those guys, Riley and Tyler, went through last year, being a freshman.
How was Aaron Davis made it through these first 2 days of practice this week?
He's been great. He's been good out there. He's worked hard, and he's continuing to push, and we'll be able to use him. He's getting reps.
How careful do you guys have to be with him right now, and the same with Solomon, to try and make sure they're ready for Saturday?
Careful's a hard word in football, because when you say careful, I'll say, well, they're not ready. And I've always been a big believer that if you can't practice, then you probably can't play. So, the old adage of saving it for the game doesn't work, because in my history, the ones you save for the game don't play well in the game. So if you can't practice, it's just hard to get out there and perform. So we hadn't been real careful with them. We got to let them go and push, maybe control their reps as far as the number they get.
Coach, you called Tyler Clark kind of a raw type of prospect during his freshman year, and he kind of come on throughout preseason camp. I mean, what are your thoughts on how he performed Saturday, and how does he kind of fit into the defensive line rotation against Notre Dame?
Yeah, Tyler's a guy that I thought had a good camp. We talked about improvement. He really is prideful in his performance. I mean, he competes out there every day. It's important to him. You get a good day's work. He's big. Big people are usually harder to block, and he's gotten better with his pass rush. Probably not where he wants it to be, but I thought he had a good camp. He's played well for us. He's in that rotating group of 6 to 8 guys that we try to play in there, and I'm excited for where he can go because he's got some potential to continue to get better.
On defense for them, how important is a guy like Tranquil right in the middle? I mean, is he kind of like almost like a Deion Buchanan type for them?
Yeah, he does a great job. You know, it's strange because some of the guys that were playing more last year that were returning starters, you don't see as much. So some of those guys aren't out there quite as much. They might be in a different role, but he's certainly a really good player. And, you know, I think they do a tremendous job on defense of attacking you different ways. You know, they come from everywhere. They got a really good base defense. And they understand where their leverage is and they know where their health is. And they do a great job for defending perimeter plays. I mean, they attack blockers. They do a really good job.
Kirby, you guys, I guess, recruited Charlie Warner when you were at Bama, right?
Yeah.
Did you think that was an uphill climb given his history here?
Uphill
to try to get him to Bama when you were there?
I think every recruiting battle is an uphill climb. You know, my parents lived there, so I thought I had an inside track. My old boss has a house there, so we thought we had an inside track. You know, I think a lot of times people think one thing about a kid, and you know, it's the same way with Sean Evans. Nobody gave us a chance to get him because his parents were Auburn people. Yeah. He ended up at Alabama. So, I mean, I always think you give a kid an honest opportunity, and you be very upfront with them. And I don't ever look at it as a wasted opportunity because I get to meet somebody or meet a great family, and they certainly take the Warners of that.
Coach, what can you say about DeAndre Swift after week 1 and what his role will be coming into these big conference games?
Well, he's a talented player. He's very smart, very mature. He actually reminds me in demeanor of Andrew Thomas. Very businesslike. Both of them went to great academic institutions. Both of them won state championships in high school. They're very serious about their performance, and I think that's the kind of overriding factor that allows them to play early in their college careers because they're very calm in the moment.
You guys obviously brought in Van Gorder for the Georgia Tech game last year. At that time or after that, did you pick his brain at all about Notre Dame?
No. I mean, that time we got our hands full. At that time, we're obviously worried about Georgia Tech, but no, I've never really talked to BBG about that. I don't think that's really fair to him. I don't think it's fair to do that. His son's still there and plays there.
Kirby, obviously, I mean, details are huge, and every coach that wants to be good has, you know, those on your mind. But when you talk about like defending a mobile quarterback, you know, how minute do they get in terms of making sure that he can't, you know, get away from the rush when you do things right and, you know, turn a play that you do everything right into a big play for them?
Yeah, I think that's something you can't control. You coach it, you emphasize it, but they have 5 people blocking last time I checked, right? Unless they send a tackle out for a pass or a guard out. And we usually have 4 people rushing. You can rush 3, you can rush 5, you can rush 6. But to be honest, when you got 4 on 5, there's not a, you know, it's not a great situation when you got a guy back there that maybe your 4 can't tackle because they got a 300-pounder on them, 2 first-rounders. So it becomes, start thinking like, how do you contain this guy? You know, it's tough to do that. You got to be aggressive. You got to come after him, but you certainly can't rush past him. And he really made them pay, Temple pay the other day when he broke out. And that's part of that you can't control. You got to get him on the ground and go play the next play.
What have you seen the last 2 practices from the QBs?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think both those guys have taken ownership, taken a little more leadership. Certainly, it's a lot more heightened awareness when you know you're the guy. It's the same way for Bryce. You know, I mean, he went from getting no reps to getting all the 2s reps. So he's like a changed person. It's like I gotta prove myself. I gotta do a better performance than I did last time, and he certainly felt that way, and we did too. And then obviously with Jake, I think he's handling the situation really well. Some guys are going to have to play well around Jake. This is not the Jake Fromm show. This is not Jake Fromm's game to win or lose. There's a team traveling up there, and everybody's making a big deal about Jake Fromm. I mean, Jake Fromm's got 10 other people that got to execute so that he can.
Since his injury, has Jacob been able to talk to Jake and maybe give him some words for?
Yeah, he's been in all the meetings. He's been involved in everything. Hope he's throwing soon. Hope he's on the trip. Wish he could play.
Would you take a guy that
sure
isn't gonna?
Sure.
Do they count against? Or
yeah,
is there a 70 limit on this one, or is it more?
On a non-conference game.
Okay.
You know how many you plan on taking? Yeah.
Not sure yet. More than 70.
Yeah.
Does going into the game with Jake Fromm change at all the way you handle defense, defensive philosophy? No change whatsoever?
The point in defense is to stop them and get the ball back, you know. I don't think you can change your philosophy defensively. We got to do what's best to stop Notre Dame. And I don't think Jake has any control over that.
The size of their wide receivers, how do you feel like you're matching up with them?
We'll see, right? I mean, I don't have a certain feeling. Our guys are going to go out there and play, and guys are going to go out and compete. I mean, it's not the last time we're going to have to go against the 6'5", 6'6", 6'4" guys. I mean, that's the world we live in. You know, it's what size a lot of these guys are. And Matt Landers has been over there giving a really good picture for the scout team and done a great job with that. And we'll go out and compete. You know?
Last question.
Thank you.
There you go.